If you feel like your content is attracting victim-minded people and you're like, why is no one buying my offers? I feel like something's wrong with my messaging. That's what we're going to talk about today. I got an email from someone who wants to see how to actually start attracting those ideal clients who are willing, ready, and able to pay for the offers that she has. This is a very common challenge that a lot of coaches and course creators end up having. The easiest thing would be to actually see content and give feedback on content. And in fact, I do that in my programs. But I want to tell you a little bit about the customer awareness journey. The customer awareness journey is basically where we look at people who are out there in the world online, and they tend to be in a different state of awareness as it relates to you and your offer. So when we look at the whole thing, if you imagine from the very left side, we see people who are not aware at all. These are people that are just kind of out there online. They're just hanging out, scrolling on Instagram for entertainment. They're not aware of their problem. They're not aware of anything really. Then we have people who are problem aware. So people who are problem aware are aware that something isn't working. They are struggling with an issue. A lot of times people end up focusing on creating content that speaks to the problem aware. That doesn't mean that you should never speak to problem aware people. However, if you're only speaking to problem aware people, you will end up attracting potentially victim-minded people who have no desire to change anything about their situation. And in order for someone to buy your coaching or courses, you need to provide a solution and you need to speak to people who are ready to make a change. Problem aware are people who are like, I'm overweight, I'm so frustrated, nothing's working. Have you tried anything? Not really, but I'm just annoyed, right? Or people who are like, oh, I hate men, men suck. Men are horrible, I'm trying to date, screw this. All men are douchebags, right? And they're focusing on the problem. But the thing you'll notice is that I'm not thinking of the solution. So the next step of the awareness journey is being solution aware. So being solution aware is someone who has identified that they have a problem, but they're actively looking for solutions. They're exploring options. They're like, all men suck. I've been ghosted by dudes, cheated on, whatever, but I want to attract someone that is right for me. I understand I have a problem, but I'm also looking for a way to solve this problem. So that person is in a much more empowered state. They're still in pain, and you still want to speak to the pain because they're aware of it, but they're also ready to make a change. They're looking for ways to change their life. And that's the most important thing you need to look at when creating content, on creating your offers and everything like that. You want to speak to people who are ready to make a change. But a lot of times what I'll see is people are speaking to just the problem. And you're just speaking to like, you should do this, right? So it's like, you're telling them what they need to do because of their problem. That is a massively different thing than you have a problem, you know you're ready to make a change, so here's what to do. So you're adding that layer of awareness. You're someone that's already been trying to make a difference. You're trying to make a change and you're ready for doing the work. That is someone you don't have to convince as much to buy your offer. A good example of this is I'll sometimes see people that are creating content, educating people on what coaching is. They're like, who needs coaching? Well, if you are struggling with your life, if you're struggling with your family, you probably need coaching. But again, you're speaking to people that are problem aware or potentially not aware at all, actually, because you're like, why wouldn't someone want to buy my coaching? Everyone has issues. Everyone has problems. You're speaking to people that are not aware of any specific problem and they're just kind of existing. Of course, people have problems, but that doesn't mean that they're focused on the problem. There's a difference between someone that is just kind of out there, like we all have our issues, and you trying to talk to that person like, hey, by the way, have you heard of coaching? You should probably get life coaching because it will make your life better. And it's like, okay, in what way, right? I don't really have a problem enough to want to pay for it. So that's speaking to people that are not aware at all. Speaking to someone that's problem aware is like, you know, I'm aware of a specific problem in my life. Like I keep getting ghosted by guys. This is so frustrating. I keep attracting these people that are not emotionally available. So then I'm like, oh, you keep attracting people that are not emotionally available, do coaching. But it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. It's going to take more effort. It's going to take more energy for you to convince someone, because you have to do convincing at that point, to get out of their victim mindset or their frustrated mindset, to get them out of that into let's fix it. Because now you have to not just focus on convincing them to buy your offer, you have to convince them on wanting to change, which is the hardest thing. Because it's not up to you. It's up to them to want to change. And the point with which somebody arrives at, I'm ready to change, I'm ready to look for a solution, that happens on their own terms. That happens on their own timeline. For some people, it takes years before they go from a problem-aware state to a solution-aware state. For some, it takes decades. There are people that complain a lot, right? They complain about their situation, they complain about their life, but they're not doing anything about it. That's a problem-aware person. It's going to take a long time for you to be like, enroll in my coaching, enroll in my program, when that person's not ready to do anything. They're not even looking at YouTube videos to help them. They're not even listening to podcasts. They're not reading books about it, which is like the easiest thing you could do. So you trying to sell to them your offer, it's just not going to work. You're going to think that something's wrong with you when in fact you're just speaking to the wrong person. So speaking to a solution-minded person is someone already looking at options. You're speaking to that mindset of readiness. The customer awareness journey doesn't end there. There is also product aware and fully aware, but those are more in regards to you. If you don't have an audience, you're not going to have product aware people as much. Product aware content, when you're speaking to product aware people, is when they're already in your audience, they're already aware of you as a coach or a course creator, and now you're speaking to them directly about more of what you do, more of like, here's my offer, here's what we do. So it's more like nurture content at that point. Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to focus on that too much if you don't have an audience to sell to at all. So the way you bring the right people in is focusing on the solution aware people. Make a list of all the things that your people are like. How are they thinking? What are they thinking about? What do they want? You do need to tie it to the pain. Pain point marketing gets a bad rap where, you know, I don't want to talk about that at all. But the problem with pain point marketing is when you only talk about the pain, but you don't talk about the solutions. That's a challenge. You do want to reference the pain and the problem that people are experiencing, because it's easier for us to associate with something that's not working than associate with what we want. A lot of times we don't know what we want. We just want to fix the problem that we have, but we're ready to do the work to do it. Does that make sense? So this is kind of where we're talking about it in a very conceptual way. And ideally, you know, we would be able to actually look at a piece of content and come up with different pieces of content. This is something that we do inside of my membership, by the way. I have a content membership being rebranded into Reach More People membership. Definitely recommend checking it out because this is about content specifically, but that's the number one most important thing. There's other things to it. We can talk about tiers of clients and who you're talking to, but I'll start there because that's the most common thing that I see people doing wrong. Hopefully this is helpful. And if you need more support with that, definitely reach out and we'll be more than happy to help.